From the balmy shores of sunny Florida to the cold winds of Chicago and everywhere in between, you're watching the Red Wemette Show, live, coast to coast. Talk of the town, Mr. Red Wemette.
Hello, everybody. Today is June 26th, 2025, and I am Red Wemette. For all you people that don't know, which could be a lot, yesterday I was doing a show with Adam. We had a storm here, and the power went out. So I left in the middle of the show. I did have a little telephone power, got back on the show, but this was supposed to be tomorrow, or yesterday, excuse me. And I changed it to today. So we have some people here. And it's, I don't know if you're all here or not, we'll see. Jim Jagger, how you doing, buddy? Christina Morris, Keith, how you doing, buddy? Hit that like button. Thank you. Hey, Scott, how you doing? Go for dog. Good seeing you. Tim Peroni, good seeing you. Christina, hello, glad to see you're back. Glad to see you're here. So anyway, Hunt's in the house. Gotcha, buddy. Gotcha. So anyway, today's subject is the Wild Bunch. And there isn't really a lot of, I don't think a lot of people really know the facts about the Wild Bunch. Why they were formed, who formed them, and who really gave them orders, who they really belonged to. And I was not privy to it for a long time. I just didn't look at the Wild Bunch. I never looked at, I knew people were part of the Wild Bunch, but I didn't know why, and I didn't know how. I didn't know very much. I just knew it was a name. And it was basically a crew of people that Fariello had power over. They belonged to him. Part of the old Cicero faction. And to go down the list of who was who, there was Jerry Scalise, there was Jerry Scarpelli, there was Tony Borsellino, Butch Petrocelli, and Jimmy Iandino, who I think is the last person to live from the Wild Bunch. All the rest, they were gone. I know in 1989, Jerry Scarpelli died at the MCC in Chicago. I think he was the first to go. Then again, I may be wrong, and it might have been Butch Petrocelli that was the first to go. I'm not really sure about that, but I do know that they were all distinctively one thing. They were hitmen. It was a hit team, and they were very good at their work. How you doing, Philip? Yes, they were all part of the Chicago outfit, all of them. But the first I ever really recognized any of them was during uh, the hit or the murder that took place at Rosie's Sandwich Shop of Richard Cain. And the thing that I noticed most of all about them, or about being part of the Wild Bunch, was Harry Aleman. He was on the roof of the building, and I don't know what he was doing on the roof, wasn't that tall of a building. But Schweiss was out on the street, and they were coordinating with each other. It appeared to be. I didn't hear it, so I don't know. But he was actually there, and he left in his signature automobile, which was a Pontiac Firebird. And that's the first I ever really noticed any of them. So Aleman was very lethal. He was he had an up and down life. He really did. Some people tell me about how great of an artist he was. Some people tell me how ruthless he was. Some people tell me how stupid he was. There's all kinds of different opinions about Harry. Harry, he did have one distinction, that's for sure, and that was he was the only one who was tried twice on the same crime, and they said it was double jeopardy. It really wasn't double jeopardy because it was all fixed. And that was Logan, when he murdered Logan. So when he got out of prison from something else, he wasn't out less than a year. And bang, he got it again, indicted again. I believe it was Scott Cassidy that went after him. Might have been, it was Scott Cassidy. I was going to think it might have been Mary Lacey. But he was tried again and convicted. And no bond, and he went away. That was it. That was the end of Harry. So, yes, Harry Aleman was with them. Harry the Hook. Thank you, George. I'm glad you made it. I really am. Hit that like button. I need all the help I can get. Benjamin McCarty. Hey, Red, us. Thumbs up, buddy. Thank you. There were a lot of people that really misunderstood who the Wild Bunch were. And even myself, I always thought that they belonged to different crews. One belonged to one crew, like Aleman. I knew he was related to Joe Ferriola, but I didn't. It was made by marriage, a relation, but I didn't know that all the others belonged to the same crew. I thought one might belong to a South Side crew, one may belong to the West Side crew, different bosses, and certainly not Joey Lombardo. But it didn't turn out to be that way. And as far as being the Wild Bunch, they were wild. They went out and did some outrageous hits. Uh, One of them was very much involved with the Calabreses and the murder of Billy Dauber. And they were all involved in different things all over the place. I mean, it just wasn't one thing. It was many. Public announcement. Jim Jager, it's 420. Just thought he'd let you folks know. So it was a very lethal group of people that left its impression on Chicago. Tony Borsellino, I believe he was murdered in 1989, 1990. Let me check and make sure, folks. $1979. I was way off by a decade. He was born in 1930, died in 1979. They all had a distinction. I don't think they all ever met together on different jobs, but they were all lethal and good at what they did. There were other hitmen that were very lethal and good at what they did, but they were spread out. They belonged to different crews. And these people didn't belong to anybody except Petrocelli. Excuse me, except Ferriola. Red, why did they blowtorch Butch Petrocelli's face? That's up for grab, and only the people that really did it know for sure. But I was told that it was to make it. At that time, they didn't have DNA, and his hands were already fucked up. But I was told at that time they didn't want to recognize him at all, and then it was a big mistake too, because the whole body was supposed to be burned, and the hitman on that decided to roll up the windows, and it was in the wintertime, and there was no oxygen, and the flame went out. So we just had a charcoal boiled Butch Petrocelli. It didn't achieve its purpose at all. It was just, not good at all. Dave and Wolfie, how you doing? Let's have Wolfie bark. Oof. But that's the reason I could see with the blowtorch. I remember when it happened, and there were all kinds of rumors about that. All kinds of rumors about it. It's like when any murder came up, there were a great deal of rumors about it. I know. I'm trying to remember exactly which one he screwed up on the Spalacho burial, and his body was found in public. He was killed. A lot of people were. These were very lethal, dynamic people. I think Scarpelli was the only one that kind of shook my mind at the time. Jerry was a big man, huge man, worked out every day, big in the muscle building stuff like that. But like anybody, after you get to be a certain age, your body starts to deteriorate just a little bit. Maybe you don't work out just as much as you used to. And he really was down on his luck. He never really got ahead that much. He was a gambler. And I remember Leo DeAngelis was a FBI agent that called me up and told me. And he said, we're working on a guy right now that just came in. And I said, oh, who? And he told me. And he was giving me the details. He said, this guy, he didn't want to talk in the beginning. And he said, once we got him to talking, he wouldn't stop talking. He just kept talking and talking. Some of us take breaks and go get coffee. And we come back. It was like he never stopped. He didn't take a break for like 24 hours. He just kept going and going and going and trying to make a deal. And this is a sad thing about him, too, because the FBI agents that were there did say that he had a deal. He was going to testify, and they told him he had a deal. He leaves, and he goes over to the MCC. While he's in the MCC, the next morning, the newspapers had an article, and it was on TV also in the morning, that the U.S. attorney was going to prosecute him to the full extent of the law. And that was allegedly his reason for committing suicide. But he did think he had a deal in place. And I called Leo in the morning and I said, Leo, what the heck is this? And he said, we screwed up. He said, we screwed up. We spoke before, before the U.S. attorney cleared it. So it's that old story that the police or the arresting agency may have spoke beyond their means, because the real people that prosecuted are not the arresting agent or arresting cop. It's the prosecutor. And they had no intentions of letting a man go. And I don't think he had intentions of facing these people and explaining to them the deal he made. He might have had buyer's remorse. But also it was mentioned to me that by an agent, several agents told me later on that he was on the same floor in the same pod, and he was supposed to be on a suicide watch with Frank Schweiss. And to this day, I will stand by what I have to say. And what I have to say is this: I don't know how any man could take two bags, plastic bags, put one over his head, tie it, put another one over his head and tie it, and then tie his hands behind his back in the shower room where you'd be alone. I don't know how anybody could do that. It's a Houdini trick that I've never been able to understand. Hello, Anthony. How you doing? That Schweiss was such a sweetheart. Yeah, he was really trying to make Mr. Scarpelli comfortable. Yeah, probably. That's one way of putting it. I love the way you put things, Guy. You have a sense of humor. Next to none. Dave and Wolfie saying hi to you. There we go. I love your videos that you put out. I love the intro that you made for me. I like everything you ever did. So anyway, the killer crew, as they were sometimes referred to, they popped in on odd jobs here, there, everywhere, and they're extremely lethal. To think that Harry was involved in the murder of Richard Cain is kind of unique. I didn't think too much of Harry at the time. And I knew he wasn't part of the Grand Avenue crew, which really set that whole thing up with Marshall Cafano and others involved. You're welcome. You're welcome, Anthony. Scarpelli, Epstein, maybe Johnny Russo, who's involved in both. Jim Jagger. You are something else, buddy. So it was just unique, very unique. Like I said, my first notice of anybody that was labeled as part of the Wild Bunch later on. I mean, it might have been labeled before then. I didn't read the newspapers back then. I just listened to what was on the street and what I learned from FBI agents. But I don't know. It was one of those kind of things where Harry was lethal, very lethal, a very dangerous man. They were all dangerous. I didn't know all of them. I didn't know any of them, really. Butch Petrocelli, he probably had the most decent murder out of all of them. Or did he? Shot twice in the back of the head, sitting in his vehicle in the parking lot of the Golden Horns. Or there was that Chucky Nicoletti. Excuse me. It was. Got him confused there for a second. But then again, I'm confused anyway. Just ask somebody. They'll tell you. I'm getting old. Let's see what this is here. Tim Peroni. Detention, the Chicago Denton, the Chicago police never ever suspected Richard Cain associates with Sam Giancana. Yes, they did, Tim. They certainly did. It was well surmised by a lot of people back then that Sam was trying to, or Richard Cain was trying to make a deal for Sam to come back to Chicago. And it wasn't working out. They didn't want him back. And the reason's very obvious. His reign, his leadership was divided up into different factions, different areas, different groups. And there wasn't one, he could not just walk in and step in and take over like he did. It just wouldn't go. Lisa B. That's what happens when you live as much life as you live, Red. It gets hazy. Sometimes it does. Yeah. I find myself making a lot of corrections lately. Or a lot of hesitations in what I say because I need time to think. And I'm only as old as I feel. Well, I hope so, because I don't feel my age. I don't feel 76 years old. I feel younger. But I don't know. I am who I am. Yes, I don't know how many people watched it, but Chicago Alpha Files, Anthony is bringing up the fact that Antoinette Giancana, who turned 90 last week, said Richard Cain stuck to her dad like flypaper. And that's a fact. I saw the video, Anthony. I love it. Very, very well done. But also, that was the consensus of all of us. I mean, he was there for one reason, to smooth over or make a path for Sam to come home. And it didn't work that way. I mean, I'm sure Sam got the message that didn't work out for his man, so it wasn't going to work out for him. You're very welcome. Anthony. You're very welcome. You didn't realize why don't you watch some of Anthony's work there? You'll find out a lot of things. You get really informed there, Tim. At least of me. I'm already 42 and it's already hazy. Don't feel bad. I feel my age, not a day over 647. Okay, guy. Oh, yeah, he's just going to put it up here for everybody to read so he can get thousands. I mean, after the live is over, other people may look at this, and I'll all have his email address. Why don't you send him a message and get his email address that way, Dave? Might work better. Unless, Anthony, you want to put it up here. Hey, Red, have you and Adam ever looked into having Johnny Russo on either of your live shows? No, I haven't looked at it. And I didn't even know who Johnny Russo was. Never heard of him until I met Adam. And then I found out who he was. I mean, we weren't we weren't doing too much. So, have we ever thought about it? I think we talked about it once, but the guy is not exactly what we want to promote at all. And as far this for Dave, I'm sure, Dave Grimpy. I am current. This is Anthony talking. I am currently in cardboard box at Slab City. Rough address. Rough address. Very rough address. So, Jerry Cruz. Hello from the west side of Chicago, Red. Hello, Jerry. How you doing? I'm going to take a poll with you guys to see if anybody, I doubt you have, but has anybody ever seen or talked to any member of the Wild Bunch? Any member? I never have. I never met any of them. It was just one of those things where I kind of stuck to my own people, but they're one faction that I never really got around. And I don't see anybody coming up with any answers, so I don't think they have. Tim Peroni, how long was I without power yesterday? About 4 hours, a little bit longer. Actually packed my dog up, got in the car, and went and bought a pizza. Yes, you are too young. They were gone before. And there's only one left, and he is Jerry Scalise. And he's pretty old, too. I believe he's doing time in prison right now, isn't he? Or did he get out? Anthony? I know he's famous for the Marlboro Diamond, and he's famous for belonging to La Piatra, the Hook. And he never, after Ferriola died, that's where he went. But he never really made a lot of fame or fortune other than his criminal activities. Tim Peroni. So the Wild Bunch was operating in the 70s. It started in 1974. And it went all the way through the 80s. After Ferriola died, I believe that was 1989. Uh, he died of a heart attack. He had a bad heart anyway. Uh, it was bad. He went, he bounced around. He was in prison and everything else. But that's when he went to La Piatra, I believe. He's out, La Piatra, I meant. Okay. So they are who they are. And some people look at them as a very dynamic and great group. And I don't ever remember any homicides or hits or whatever you want to call them, murders, that any two members were involved in together. Not one. They seem to go with other people on other plans, or they go alone, or they'd have a backup man with them. But they would never get together. They were all wild cards, what I would call a wild card. They were who they were. So, do we have any questions today? Other than my power going out yesterday. I went out and got a pizza, came back, sat in the dark, ate the pizza, and all of a sudden, bang, my lights went on. I turned on the air conditioning. I got cool. And then Alan called me, and we spoke. No questions? This is rare. Got no questions, guys? Gals, guys. I want to thank all of you for, especially my members, my loyal members that stuck with me. I think only one of you is here, Christina Morris. You're here. And you're the only one that's really shows up here. But you guys have stuck with me, and I'm very happy about that. And maybe we're going to get something better going. Let me know what kind of content that you want me to post, you want me to get into. Ryan Brown, which members of the Wild Bunch killed Chucky Nicoletti? The Wild Bunch really didn't kill each other. It wasn't a rule that they did. It was one of those kind of things where it was just different. They're a very separate group that Ferriola was in charge of. I'm not sure which one or which person, but I don't think it was a Wild Bunch member that killed Nicoletti. I think his persons are person unknown. After all, he's the one I was telling you about. He was sitting in the Golden Horns. I don't think anybody ever saw that one. Ben Smith, sorry, Red. I meant Benjamin Nicoletti. I have no idea. Temperoni would like to know more about Joey Lombardo's association with Alan Dorfman. It was heavy. I can get into that sometime. Anthony, thank you for jogging my member. It was Jerry Scarpelli because he confessed to it with the FBI. I remember now. You jogged my memory, guy. Thank you, buddy. Tim Hunt says Anthony would make a great guest star. Anthony's invited. Anthony, we could do a show together anytime you want. Let me know. Mine are usually good for Mondays, but Anthony has told me that he doesn't have the equipment to even go on anymore. So he just does what he does. But If he wants to and he can find a way to, I would be glad to have him on. I'd love it. Anthony's a very good friend of mine. I think a lot. Anthony says, I got a good memory. It's all I got is the internet. Okay. I think you're walking off a cell phone, guy. I'm guessing. But you don't have a computer anymore. You don't have a mic anymore. There's a lot of things you don't have anymore. But should you ever come across something, Anthony, you have an open invitation to be on the show with me. And I can speak for Adam, too. You have an open invitation to be on my vlog. Okay, buddy? Dan. Hi, Red. You're the man. Have you ever met Helen Brock? No, I didn't. I didn't meet Helen Brock. Yes, I did. Pardon me. I did. I met Helen Brock. In I think it was 1959, in Wheeling, Illinois. It's way before the outfit. I was involved in the outfit. In 1959, might have been 58, I was at the police station in Wheeling, Illinois, and her car was her husband's car, Frank Brock, was hit broadsided by a fire engine. And we were standing looking, and I'd never seen a Cadillac limo before. Gorgeous car. And we were standing there looking at it, and I said, who does that belong to? And they said, oh, that belongs to the Brocks. They're millionaires. And that was my first introduction to the word millionaire. And I do remember it, too. I remembered the man had, I didn't remember too much about her, except she was wearing a fur coat. But the man had like a unibrow. He had big, bushy eyebrows. And tall man, big man. So, yes, I did see Helen Brock. But meet her, get to know her, talk to her, no. Anthony, I wish I could. One day I'll get the equipment. I hope so, buddy. Looking forward to it. You're a great guy, Anthony. Scott H. Ryan, gotcha. Little chat in the background, guys. Ryan Brown. I watched the replay. I didn't want to make Red recount again. Thank you. Thank you, buddy. So, I guess that's all. It's going to be a short show today. Very short show. But I want to thank everybody for stopping by. It was a good show, as far as I'm concerned. Every day above ground's a good day, they say. And it is. Ellie's dad. Hey, Red, I want to hear more about your story. You have elephant balls. To be a mole and the time you was. Well, just to clarify, I don't know if you've read my book, buddy, but Eli's dad. But I became a mole in August of 1971. And the news doesn't call it like that. When you listen to the news on me and the newspapers, they said I was tired of being extorted. And like in 1986 or 87, I went to the FBI. That's not true. I was with them since 1971 August. And it is a good story. Very good story, guy. Oh, yeah. Did I ever hear what happened to? Yes, I was very much involved in getting to the truth of it. It just never went to court. Uh, the people that were there that actually did the murder were Kurt Hansen, Ken Hansen, Vic Spilaccio, and Joe Plemons. She was brought out to Sky High Stables in Tinley Park, and in the arena of Tinley Park, her body was taken out of a vehicle, a trunk, and loaded into one of Ken Hansen's, station wagons. And she was wrapped up in like a carpet, and a ring fell off her hand. And there was a little bit of a moan when Joe Plemons went down to retrieve the emerald ring. And he realized she was alive. And he said, "Oh my God, she's alive," startled him. And then Hansen gave him a gun. Kurt Hansen did. And said, "Finish her off." And he did shoot him. And after he shot him, they brought her body to the steel mills, inland steel mills, where Tony Spilaccio had disposed of bodies there. So I assume they got the idea from. I talked this over with agents at the time. They got the idea from Vic Spilaccio, but they dumped her into the vat, and there's no evidence. Believe me, nothing. A vat of molten steel. She vaporized. I don't know how hot that thing was. I don't know if by the time her body hit the molten steel that it wasn't vaporized, the whole thing, because it was very hot. I know one time I watched them take a soda machine that wasn't working properly and kick it off the fire escape type steps into the vat, and it just like that, it was gone, totally gone. So it must have been not much of a sight. It took a lot of courage to record Frank Schweiss's conversations. I don't know if it did, Tim. I'll tell you what it did do. I was talking to Frank Schweiss on a regular basis. Turning the recording on and getting the equipment turning on was okay, but it really wasn't any more sensitive than sitting and talking to Frank. And Frank and I had a very good relationship. It wasn't one of those kind of things where he used to smile and laugh at me, and I used to cuss at him a lot. So it wasn't one of those kind of things where I felt underneath a lot of pressure. Whatever happened to Joey Hansen, Tony's pal? Well, as far as I could tell, he passed away out in San Diego. He went out to San Diego from Arizona, and he was out there with Tony for a long time. Tony used to have in Deming, New Mexico, he used to have the pail factory, and he was a good backup man for Tony. Very good backup man. They were very close. As a matter of fact, when I was talking about going to Las Vegas, I used to say out west whenever I talk. I was talking to Louis Eberle about it. And I said, I want to go out west. I don't want to stay here. And he said, well, go out there. And I said, yeah, well, I need to be in contact with somebody. Who do I reach if I got a problem? And he gave me Joey Hansen's number. And he said, see him. He'll take care of any of your problems. So that's about Joey Hansen. The man that gets confused with, or people get confused with Kurt Hansen. Kurt Hansen and Joey Hansen. They want to know if there's any relation. None whatsoever. Never met Joey Hansen. Heard all good things about him, just like I heard all good things about Paul Shiro. They worked as a team together. Joey Hansen and Shiro. They're breaking stuff at work again. Anthony, God bless you, buddy. Best of luck to you and everyone. God bless you, dude. Get to the animals. Well, it's getting late, folks. Not that late, but it's not that much of a conversation. So I'll look forward to seeing you Monday. I will be here Monday. And God willing, I'll be here next Wednesday. Until then, it's Red Wemette. Out.
The combination of the videotapes and Wemette's testimony resulted in the conviction of 2 men on extortion charges. One of them was Frank Schweiz, known in syndicate circles as the German, a feared mob terrorist and a suspect in a number of gangland murders.
He was described to me by other outfit individuals as the most feared hitman. And as he said to me, my reputation precedes me, son.